So I don't know how to start this, so I'm just going to say it. Mahito, the death curse himself, violates this man Jogo to a ridiculous degree. And that may seem like a shock, but when I explain why, you will most likely think, yeah, I guess so. So let's go over each individual aspect of Jogo and Mahito and find out just why Mahito is so busted strong in the world of Jujutsu Kaisen and is easily a contender for King of Curses. So starting with the basics, and that's probably going to be curse techniques and what these guys can actually do. So let's start with Jogo. So Jogo's curse technique is not explained too much, but what we can say for certain is Jogo has the ability to summon volcano-like structures at a place of his choosing, and these volcanoes can shoot out a lava-like blast that's powerful enough to severely injure people like Naobito, and Jogo can also shoot fire directly from his hands to set people alight, like how he turns Maki and Nanami into medium rare steak. Jogo also seems to be able to throw a massive meteor the size of a building at Sukuna and fire orbs of fire, as well as throw large rocks. So overall, Jogo has an extensive amount of curse techniques at his disposal. And in this fight, I think the most helpful thing to Jogo is one of the coolest parts of all JJK, and that's domain expansion. More specifically in Jogo's case, domain expansion, Coffin of the Iron Mountain. Within his domain, Jogo gets much stronger and all of his wide array of techniques become an auto hit due to how strong the domain is and how domain works. So in conjunction with this and his many techniques, this will be his best tool against Mahito. Next, we should probably cover Mahito's techniques, which are far less extensive than Jogo's, but are equally, if not far more dangerous. And those techniques are Idle Transfiguration and Soul Multiplicity. Idle Transfiguration allows Mahito to mold the shape of the soul of anything that he touches with the palm of his hand. And with this, he can mold souls into any manner of twisted monsters, like how when he turns this dude into a giant blob in an effort to find out how large a human can get, and he does the opposite to find how small a human can get. Idle Transfiguration is busted strong. There's basically no one aside from Yuji, Nanami or Gojo can really resist it, and it's almost a one-shot technique, as Mahito can easily twist your soul into a blob and watch you die from having your soul twisted and contorted, much like how Junpei died only moments after having his soul transfigured. Soul Multiplicity is much more crowd control based, and it allows Mahito to connect one soul to another to create a chain, and he uses this in a skirmish with Gojo, but the real key to Mahito stomping the world out one man at a time is his unbeatable domain. Domain expansion, Mahayana Prison. Mahayana Prison does so little, but is stupidly strong when combined with Mahito's abilities, and all Mahayana Prison does is while you are inside the domain, you are constantly in the palm of Mahito's hand, allowing him to use Idle Transfiguration at any point he pleases, which even allows him to hit through walls and dominate anyone he faces. Next we can go over AP. AP is pretty simple. Mahito can damage the soul with his Idle Transfiguration, and Jogo can one-shot the fastest Jujutsu sorcerer Naobito, the Zenin failure Maki, and the Suitentai Nanami, who are all first grade sorcerers, with Naobito being the supreme first grade. Next should be how durable are these guys, and we can start with Jogo. Jogo was able to survive an attack from Gojo Satoru, the strongest sorcerer, and Sukuna, the strongest curse. Although both were holding back when they fought Jogo, in Gojo's case, Jogo was able to survive getting hit with red, which is Gojo's most offensive curse technique aside from purple. Mahito is interesting when it comes to durability, and that's for one reason in particular, and that's the fact that Mahito cannot be hurt unless you attack his soul. He outright calls physical attacks meaningless and mocks Gundamaru for not paying attention when he tries hitting him with physical attacks. It's only when his soul is damaged that Mahito becomes concerned with whoever he's fighting and becomes much more serious. People like Nanami have stated that you could try and run Mahito out of cursed energy and kill him that way, but what Nanami misunderstands is Mahito does not operate like a standard curse, as standard curses heal through regenerating their body with cursed energy. However, Mahito more so uses his technique to heal and states that as long as he can maintain the shape of his soul, he cannot be killed. So with Mahito calling physical attacks meaningless, we can safely assert that the soul-based attacks are what are required in order to even damage Mahito, let alone kill him. Speed. Here's where I upset half the community, but I gotta get it out there. In this page, something real spicy happens. If you look at the details on this page for as long as I have, then you may notice that this man Mahito just dodged Gojo Satoru, a serious Gojo at that. So your first reaction might be, this is BS, no way Mahito is that fast. And you're going through 101 debunks in your head right now, but trust me, I've heard them all and I can give you a satisfactory answer to all of them hopefully. So let's go one by one, and why this is Mahito dodging Gojo. If you don't want to listen to these reasons or already agree he dodged skip to this time on screen for when I finish this, as this may take a minute. Mahito is getting folded by Yuji and Nanami, no way he's this strong. Well, chapter 116 negged this pretty badly, with Hanami verbatim stating that Mahito will continue to get stronger, implying he has already been getting stronger, and this is also supported by Nanami explaining Mahito is enjoying his growth and may become a threat we can't handle. We in this context likely referring to all sorcerers, considering he has their backing. So this would mean that Mahito is getting stronger as time goes on, which means it would not be the same Mahito that Nanami and Yuji fought. Gojo just hit him, don't you see the wham? Well, I do see the wham, but I also see the people behind Mahito that he's slamming into, and that wham is directly placed where Mahito is slamming into them. So having it nowhere near Gojo's fist is very interesting, don't you think? Also helps that the arrow of the wham is pointing to behind Mahito. The floating hand though, he just punched Mahito's hand. Don't you see the blood? Well, I can see how you would think that, but I gotta correct you again. I think this is actually the after image of Gojo's hand and is indicating where his hand was in relation to where his hand is now. I also don't think that's blood, I think that's his sleeve. If it was blood, I'd like to assume that it would be pouring out of such a massive wound, but we don't see any. We also see a very, very low detail on the Mahito hand resting on the back of a human from where Mahito caught himself from falling back. And we've seen hands being drawn like this before in low detail. Mahito just bounced off the infinity. This is weird. We know the infinity is not a solid, but slows you down as the closer you get to Gojo, so this would actually be better for Mahito, since he has no momentum to carry him anywhere for this feat, it's just pure speed. Mahito was sweating at Gojo's domain. Yes, I agree, Mahito would lose to Gojo's domain, but that doesn't mean, however, Mahito can't be relative to Gojo in speed, more so on the low end, yeah, but still relative, which is far superior to most others. But Mahito says the curses will be evenly matched. Wouldn't this mean Mahito could slam? I would normally agree, it's a very contradictory statement. However, in the next page, this man Mahito turns around and is like, yeah, don't worry guys, we'll win, I got this. Obviously I'm being a bit hyperbolic there, but Mahito is confident they will win, when previously he's saying it will be an equal fight. Kinda strange. If you have any more reasons that I haven't covered here, it's likely that they can either be quickly explained or I just genuinely have not thought of them, so go ahead and leave your counters in the comments, I'd love to hear them. So with that out of the way, the speed demon Mahito running around at Mach 10 speed blitzing basically everyone should be at his maximum speed, right? Well, no, Mahito can get even faster. Well, Mahito can get even faster by transforming his body into different shapes, like goat legs, like fish, and he's able to get such a speed increase that he completely blitzes the first grade sorcerer and Nanami when previously they were reacting to each other. So with all this in mind, I think this is how the fight would go in my interpretation, and how it would play out. So let's say Mahito and Jogo fight in Shibuya, as that's where they both are currently. I see Jogo starting by running up to Mahito and launching some physical attacks, and Mahito would likely take these physical attacks, and in Mahito's usual demeanor, be very calm and half-hearted with Jogo, commenting on the uselessness of Jogo's physical attacks. From here, I see Jogo resorting to his volcanoes and trying to burn Mahito to a crisp, to which I just see Mahito walking out of the flames with his skin healing like he did when Mekamaru hit him with a similar burning attack. And then, after a small exchange of words, I see Mahito blitzing Jogo, not killing him immediately, but twisting his soul a small amount with idle Transfiguration, causing Jogo to fall back after taking a moderate amount of damage. After this, I see Jogo using his ultimate technique of the meteor, throwing it at Mahito, to which I feel Mahito would respond with either dodging or allowing it to slam into him like he did when he was crushed by the wall in the Nanami fight, simply slithering out and reforming. Here is where Jogo would lose his patience like he did in the Gojo fight and open his domain, trapping Mahito inside. Here, I see Mahito growing more and more excited as Jogo throws more and more attacks at Mahito until finally Mahito with a smile opens his mouth to reveal the signs for domain expansion, to which I see the domains clash, and after a brief struggle, Mahito's more refined domain would edge out over and overpower Jogo's, causing the domain to fully become a Mahayana prison, and Mahito finish up the fight by turning Jogo into a stretched out abomination and ending the fight by closing his domain and killing Jogo. So some stuff to mention here as we close out. I feel Mahito's domain would edge out Jogo's due to the sheer size of Mahito's domain and how it likely takes more cursed energy and skill to be able to make your domain the size of Gundamaru versus the size of a small orb like Jogo's. This may be uncertain though, I do think Mahito's domain is shown to be more refined, aside from Gojo's and probably Sukuna's. Again, this is kind of just my opinion, but Mahito should still blitz either way and just one-shot him. Next, I tried to make the characters fight as they would in the series, in character to say. I consider these characters in their usual selves, but completely willing to kill the other person, which was kind of difficult because Jogo and Hanami and Dagon are like Mahito's best friends. For the fight, I also considered what is in character for these guys to do. Like, Mahito doesn't just instantly open his domain, same with Jogo. They usually get pressed a bit before that happens. But Jogo's interesting in the sense that he'll just do whatever in like any fight. Sometimes he'll just be very technique based, he'll be throwing techniques left and right, and then other times he'll just be like running around using his own like fires, like just his normal attacks, right? Jogo's pretty strange when it comes to that. And finally, all of this is based on the scaling of chapter 116 and my own opinion. If you think this fight would go completely different, be sure to let me know in the comments. I'd love to find out about it. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you the next time my soul isn't being devoured by my depressing country. Later, guys.